Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
It's the WHOW Morning Show. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest on the Zoom in this segment is Mrs. Mary Vogt, the Bement School Superintendent. Mrs. Vogt, how you doing today?
Great, Ben. How are you?
Good. I really appreciate you taking time for me. It's always great to catch up with you.
Yes.
Before we get
Yes.
too deep into the nitty-gritty of things, just how things been recently at the school?
Ben, things are going really well. We're, next week is midterm of third quarter
Mhm.
already. So we've had a strong start to second semester. We have a lot going on today in particular. We're a pretty active campus. So, I enjoy moments like this because, as we all know, life is unpredictable. Something's going to happen that is a little bit more of a challenge, and so we'll enjoy these great times while they're happening.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like February, just as a month, has felt slow, but I mean, baseball, softball season was right around the
Yes.
corner. So
Yes.
I'm looking forward to those warmer days, right?
Yeah. Same. Yes. And, at 6 a.m., there's light in the sky now.
Oh my
And
gosh. You don't know how much
past
that
5
does for me.
Yes. Yes. Same.
Definitely. Well, you said that you've got a very busy day at the school today,
Yeah.
and let's jump into what's keeping you and your students busy. Let's just start with a new training, or maybe not a new training, but a training that your students are going through today for a CPR.
Yeah. So today is an early dismissal day for our students.
Mhm.
So having a half day, we try to look for opportunities to provide students with learning outside of, typical classroom routine, as well as the professional development we provide staff in the afternoon.
Mhm.
So today we have all of our 6th through 12th graders attending training on AED,
Mhm.
the defibrillators, CPR, and stop the bleed. And so what we've done is we've divided our middle school and high school student body into 3 groups. And then they will spend 45 minutes at each station
Mhm.
and learn about those life-saving techniques. We have had at our elementary level, some of the paramedics taught some basic CPR,
Mhm.
but what we're doing with our middle school and high schoolers is just a little bit more in depth, because they're at an age where out in public or really just any setting, they might be able to help implement what they learned today.
Yeah.
So it's a great partnership. We have representatives from Piatt County EMA,
Mhm.
Cisco Fire, and Kirby Paramedics are here to conduct the training. Also, Piatt County Sheriff.
Mhm.
So, we've got that happening all morning for our middle school and high school students. We have our elementary students have earned a special fund reward, and so they have an assembly coming with a ventriloquist,
Mhm.
which is always fascinating. And then with our building project going on today, we have concrete being poured. And
Mhm.
so anyone who's familiar with concrete being poured knows we have a lot of people on site for that. And it's like an electric atmosphere today
Yeah.
with, the kids are excited about what they're getting to do today. The staff is excited because the kids are excited. And then seeing the progress with our building project is just phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. So as far as this AED CPR training that the students are receiving, these are life-saving skills, and for some people that might be a lot to consume. That's a lot to learn. Do you feel
Yes.
like your students are like mature enough to be able to consume this kind of information that they're being given today?
Ben, I feel like what students are exposed to outside of school
Mm.
is really a lot different than when you and I were in school.
Yeah.
First of all, just what's in the news. What is in the news these days
Hmm.
is not what I grew up watching. So what they're exposed to, I think, unfortunately, as a society, we are having students hear about things and see about things that 20 years ago wouldn't have been part of the discussion.
Sure.
And so acknowledging that those conversations are out there and the situation is out there and the world is as it is,
Hmm.
that we don't teach our students to read and write so that they only use those skills at school. We
Mm.
teach them to read and write so that they can use those skills outside of school and as they graduate. So then trying to think about what other skills do our students need? When we think about, what our mission is, we want our students to graduate from Bement schools and be able to be successful in life. And so, how can we teach some of those skills that are not all related to, reading, writing, and arithmetic? And so, a couple of weeks ago, we had Deputy Bross did training on, just what happens if there's a violent event.
Hmm.
Chances are that violent event is not going to happen at school. It will happen at a mall or a movie theater, an ice rink.
Hmm.
So, how do you respond? And then unfortunately, with a violent event, there are usually injuries. And so now this follow-up of if there are injuries and you can help, here's how you do it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Is this a training that you guys do, more or is this kind of a one-off thing, or is this something that you do more frequently?
My hope is that we do this. I would like to cycle it every 3 years.
Yeah.
So then, as a sixth grader, you would have it again early high school
Hmm.
and, just get that refresher because when you hear it once, you take it in a little bit, but then a few years later, come back and, just remember, oh, yeah, that's how we do that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
our staff has had all of the training,
Hmm.
but I've got to tell you, if I had to apply a tourniquet, I would really have to stop and think because it's not something I do all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Speak to the partnership with the Piatt County EMA and all the different organizations that are out there today. What was kind of planning this like with them?
We've had a really strong relationship with all of our first responders, community partners, for a few years now. We 2 years ago, this March, we conducted a full-scale reunification exercise, and
Mhm.
so that involved our BMENT first responders, also included Monticello, Cerro Gordo, EMA and Kirby. So really by conducting that exercise 2 years ago, it established that relationship and that comfort level
Mhm.
of when we have something that we would like them to come and train, they're very responsive. So, like I said, our staff has had the training that our students are doing. Our staff had that at the start of the year,
Mhm.
and that was simply reaching out to EMA saying, I'm interested in doing this for the staff. And then they did reach out to all of us area superintendents a few weeks ago
Mhm.
to say, here is a training we would do for your students. And so I said, well, how about on our early dismissal day?
Yeah.
And we made it work.
Great, great. Well, also going on at the school today, in sort of a similar vein, is the student council is hosting a blood drive today. And before we take a break in a couple of minutes here, I just love to highlight the student council and their organization of this
Yeah.
blood drive, and also give some information about if people can still come on out.
Sure, sure. Our student council does have an annual blood drive each February. It is student driven, so they work with their sponsor, Mrs. Clodfelter,
Mhm.
and schedule the blood drive. What is great about it is the student council officers who are responsible for the organization and logistics, then they qualify for a scholarship
Oh,
through
great.
the Red Cross at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And so I love that the Red Cross does that.
Mhm.
But yeah, anyone who would like to donate blood, they are already set up and will go until noon today.
Mhm.
And anyone could come to our high school entrance on Champaign Street, door 10, and come in and say, I'd like to donate blood, and we will point you to the right direction.
Awesome.
So, again, another life-saving activity happening today.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, just one more thing before the break that I want to highlight, less of a life-saving activity, but still one of note is this assembly for the elementary schoolers that you had
Yeah.
mentioned.
Yeah.
You said it's kind of a reward for the good behavior, and I would just
Yeah.
love to know, highlight those elementary schoolers and the great things that they've been
Yeah.
doing to earn this assembly today.
Yes. So at our elementary level, we do positive behavior.
Mhm.
So, bulldog, dog paw, PAW. And so that positive behavior. And so just students who get recognized for going above and beyond just as a group. What I love about it is it's not divided by class, but across the board, K through 5, we designate students into houses.
Mhm.
So they each have their dog house. So there's a red house, a blue house, etc. Um, but as a collective house, then each week specific rewards are given.
Mhm.
But in order to honor the entire elementary, we bring activities like this in, just to let everyone know, hey, maybe you didn't get that positive behavior acknowledgement, but we see you, we appreciate you, and now here's something fun that we're going to bring in for you to enjoy too.
And that's so important for not just students as a whole, but especially for those young students to feel that recognition, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because it is hard to individually recognize every week
Mhm.
all of the great things that are happening.
Yeah.
So to be able to say, again, we see you, we appreciate what you're doing, we appreciate your behavior. Now let's have a fun activity.
Definitely, definitely. Mrs. Vogt, anything else on either the CPR training, the blood drive, or that elementary school assembly before we take a break?
Ben, really the biggest challenge with all of it was finding space for everyone. And isn't that a good problem to have?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, more to come on the WHOW Morning Show with Mary Vogt, the Bement School Superintendent. Don't go anywhere. It's the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Friday. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and Chicago wheat all starting the day in the green. March corn opening 438 and a half, up 5 1/4. May corn up 447 and a half, and December new crop 469 and a quarter, up 2 1/4. March beans starting the day 1152 and a half, up 4 3/4. May beans up 4 1/4, 1167 and 3/4, and new crop November 1129, up a penny and a half. March Chicago wheat 588, up 16 1/4. May wheat up 15, 589 and a half, and July wheat 597, up 15. March KC wheat 566, up 14 and a half. March bean meal 317.90, up 30 cents. March bean oil 61.92, up 63 cents. Opening numbers on this Friday morning. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
This is Inside.
It's time to celebrate winter. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. Yes, we have extra savings on all new Chevrolets this month to celebrate the winter season. See our inventory of Chevrolet Trailblazers, Blazers, and the efficient Trax. We also have a good selection of our 7-passenger Chevrolet Traverse and Tahoes. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. See our winter celebration savings at BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
I'm Ben Lowers, and I'm running for DeWitt County Sheriff. As a 30-year law enforcement veteran and chief of police in Clinton, I've seen firsthand how state mandates like the Safety Act can impact local safety. I've been a vocal opponent of that legislation because I believe in common sense policing. But being a leader means being proactive, not just reactive. That's why I've prioritized programs like our addiction recovery initiatives, providing a bridge to help guide those in crisis to a better path forward, rather than just a revolving door back into the system. I'm Ben Lowers, and I'm asking for your vote on March 17th.
Paid for by citizens to elect Ben Lowers.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
It's the WHOW Morning Show. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. We can continue with my guest on the Zoom in this segment, Bement School Superintendent, Mrs. Mary Vogt. And Mrs. Vogt, you told me in the first segment that aside from all the things that are keeping your staff and your students busy today, outside the building, you guys are pouring concrete for your new addition. This has been the big news for, the last year or so? Let's just do a recap of how we got to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was around this time last year that we started looking at how could we fund this project, and a large part of the conversation started because we had an alum that passed away, and Jeffrey Mills, he passed away, and he named our school district as a beneficiary and in his estate, and then he has family members, his brother Steve and Steve's children then also committed to donating money. And so those conversations about how would we use it? There are things that we would like to do to make improvements out at our football field, but we use that facility once a year.
Yeah.
So that didn't we weren't going to get our money's worth
Yeah.
out of making an improvement at a facility that doesn't get used often.
Mhm.
So something that we had talked about with our industrial tech building is not connected to our main building. So every class period, we have students who walk outside to get to the classes out in the industrial tech building. So whether it's ag, automotive tech, wood shop, welding, fitness and conditioning, those classes are all held in that industrial tech building. So then we started thinking about what if we put an addition between the gym and that IT building so that students would be able to pass through, which just on so many levels is the best practice
Yeah.
because we have doors are able to be kept locked,
Mhm.
which again, safety, best practice. Students aren't having to go outside in the elements. And then providing greater supervision because we would be able to have staff members there and present as they're passing through, and not necessarily the case as they're walking
Yeah.
outside. So then it became, okay, we have some money for it, but how would we get the rest of the funding? So what we did was sell working cash bonds, and then we have also worked with the Bement Foundation.
Mhm.
They have, we don't have a dollar amount yet, but they have committed to making a donation towards our project. And then we were able to get the working cash bond sold,
Mhm.
and we were able to get the project approved, and work started on it in October.
Mhm.
And the plan is that it will be done by the end of July. So before next school year starts, we should have the punch list, everything done. And it's amazing how quickly it has gone, especially with it starting as the weather was getting colder.
Mhm.
So today, the structure is in place. The plumbing has been run. And gosh, 2, 3 weeks ago now, it was fascinating to see the crane come in and set the steel beams
Yeah.
and trusses
Yeah.
for the roof.
Mhm.
Just fascinating. So with the project, it has caused some disruption in our drop-off and pickup routine because our buses aren't able to go where they typically do. But for this small, inconvenient time for our pickup and drop-off, we're going to have a beautiful addition that increases safety, and really I feel like it will help as we have events. People will know where to enter.
Mhm.
Right now, we have several doors around our building, but none of them are an obvious, here is the high school entrance or here is the elementary school entrance.
Yeah.
So just to give that visibility as well.
Yeah, yeah. So I feel like between, you guys just did an HVAC project in the gymnasium, and now this project that's been going on for the last year. Just speak to the kind of ongoing facility updates efforts, and why is it important to kind of keep making these additions or improvements to the school?
Gosh, um, I'm going to quote some of our students. Our sports and entertainment marketing class that met first semester, they did some amazing work, and their final project was to help rebrand and market the district.
Mhm.
And so they were broken into two groups, and each group had parts of their presentation that we will be using. But one of them, their overall theme was pride in our past, faith in our future.
Mm.
And it just like it was that moment of that's exactly what we're going for here.
Yeah.
Because we are very proud of Bement and just the strong school system that has been here since, the 1800s.
Mhm.
And we do have faith in our future. We have faith that we're going to be here. We have faith that we are going to show our students and our staff and our community that we care, and we want facilities that match the level of care that we have for our community.
Mhm.
And we want people to know that we are a desirable district. We have great things happening academically. As far as extracurriculars, I think there are something like 60 extracurricular opportunities available for our students.
Wow.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And so it was really fantastic to see our district through the eyes of our students, of our current students.
Mhm.
And just to know that by providing these facility improvements, and it's not all pretty, like rewiring and doing a whole new network upgrade, putting in new technology in the classrooms. Those aren't public items that people can see. Putting in new safety features in the classrooms and intercoms. Those aren't the pretty things that people see,
Mhm.
but people see this addition. Another thing that we're working on is our weight room. Our weight room is severely outdated.
Mhm.
So what we're working on is with a company to possibly trade in our equipment
Mm.
and get equipment that you would have a station where 4 students can work on different skills at the same time,
Mhm.
so it doesn't take up as much room as the equipment that's been in there for decades.
Yeah.
So just, again, freshening it up, not spending millions of dollars redoing it, but just freshening it up. Same with the gym. I've been in touch with the company that's doing the graphics for our new addition, just to ask, can we get some updated graphics in our gym so that when people walk into this beautiful addition, it's not such a severe, oh, their gym hasn't had anything done to it. So, just some cosmetic things that shouldn't cost a lot,
Mhm.
but will help elevate the space.
Definitely, definitely. Mrs. Vogt, I look at the clock and we're just about out of time. But
Yeah.
first, where's the best place for everyone to find out about all the things going on at Bement schools?
Yeah, www.bement.k12.il.us.
All right, awesome. Mrs. Vogt, thank you so much for joining me on the morning show today. Again, that is my guest on the Zoom, Mrs. Mary Vogt, the Bement Schools Superintendent on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Hear Clinton Maroon live play-by-play this season on WHOW, the Big 1520 Daytime, 92.3 FM in DeWitt County and 106.5 in Bloomington Normal all the time. Plus streamed at DeWittDailyNews.com on the WHOW mobile app and Amazon.